just getting started. This is South Coast Tonight with Chris McCarthy and Marcus Farrow. They've got you covered on all the news of the day, from local issues to politics on both sides of the aisle. This is the place where the movers and shakers come to be heard, to listen, and where they're held accountable. This is South Coast Tonight on WBSM.
Welcome.
Hello, Marcus.
That was a lot.
That was.
So we had just about all the statewide candidates and one of the countywide candidates, and now we have the other, Sheriff Tom Hodgson. Hey, Sheriff.
Hello, Sheriff.
Hey, Chris. Hi, Marcus. How are you?
Very good.
So I was at the standout today, and it was quite an impressive turnout, and I thought you gave a good speech to the crowd afterwards. What did it mean to have that many people there on election eve supporting your candidacy?
Well, obviously, it's a great inspiration for me, to have so many people come out and so many that believe in the same things that we've been doing over the years. It's really rewarding, and as I say, it's an inspiration for me to know that we're doing the right things for the people of our county to make sure our communities are secure, that we're doing everything we can to keep them safe, as well as, all the outreach we're doing with our partnerships and collaboration with the local PDs and the youth programs that we've developed, the senior citizen programs, all the things that we're doing that make them feel like, hey, we're all in this together, and this is really about community and what I think a lot of people in the other parts of the country want to see happen, which is, work together as a team and do the right things look, I'm a grandfather and I'm a father, just like many of the people who are out there today, and they all feel the same way I do. It's time to make sure that our families are secure, our communities are secure, and this is not about politics. It's about what's right for the people we serve. So I'm very, very blessed and happy that so many people came out today to show their support and their affirmation that we're on the right track, we're doing the right things.
So, Tom, tomorrow's the big day. You've been working for 6 years towards this day. How do you feel?
Well, I'm somebody that always runs 10 votes behind, but I feel that we've done everything we can do. I've always trusted whatever the people of this county decide is something, obviously, that's ultimately, in the end, what really matters. I hope that they've seen that over my 25 years have been very consistent, focused on what matters to them and their families, and that I have a real passion. This is what I've done. I've had opportunities to people try to encourage me to run for Congress and other things, but I said no. This is my wheelhouse. I started out in law enforcement, and I'm very committed to doing anything I can in this business to keep people safe, and I want to be able to make a difference and work with my staff and the people of our communities to make that happen.
So what do you, let's say you get reelected, I think it's going to be your fifth successful reelection. What are you going to do on day one in January? Is there anything you're looking to continue? Any new initiatives you're looking to start, but you're waiting to get reelected?
Well, absolutely. I mean, look, there's a whole host of things that we have to look toward, both inside the prison and also outside the prison. I mean, the fentanyl problem in this country right now is something that we have to get under control. We're losing 300 young adults a day. And I know my partners in law enforcement are as focused and committed as I am to stop this from happening, having moms and dads walk in, try to wake their kids up, and they're not waking up because of the fentanyl we know is pouring in over the border. And we have to come together, and we have to be the inspiration for the rest of this nation and for our communities to say, look, stand with us, and we will reinstate the rule of law. We'll stop your kids from having to be exposed to this stuff, and stand with law enforcement and denounce this defund the police movement that's going on in this country, and we will reclaim our neighborhoods. The other thing is, and that's through strengthening our partnerships. I have people on all kinds of task forces and so forth for years that have been working on trying to eradicate drugs from our communities. But the other piece of this is, the whole issues inside the prison around vocational training. I've been trying for a couple of years to try to get the vocational high schools to open up to us. Let us use them at night. We have all the equipment there, and make maximum use of those like we do our sheriff's office. Whatever potential you could offer as many people to get benefits is what we're all about in government. It's what we should be doing. And so I'll be working hard to do that. As you know, we recently announced our CDL simulators we have, our welding simulators that we've got. We want to get people into the trades so they can leave our prison and get into a job that's going to give them not only a support in the way of supporting themselves, but also some sense of achievement, some giving back and making a difference in society. We're very heavily involved in the youth initiatives, which is critically important. I said it from day one when I took over. We need to deal with kids before they ever walk through the front door of a jail. Why are we waiting until after they've established their established long-term dysfunctional behaviors to try to correct them? It's more costly, more difficult, and has much less success rate. Let's do it at the front end. So we have a cutting-edge program in that regard. We're looking at expanding some of the other programs with trainings for other PDs and not just our canine program, our comfort dog program. We have the first 2 COVID dogs in the nation. These are all things that we will continue to do as problems evolve, like the mental health issues and the reentry issues that we have to do. We need more people on the outside to have more resources. The community groups that are doing things to try to help inmates when they come out, they need more resources so that the inmates, the ex-inmates, can have an opportunity to a continuum of care that they started when they got in our place. All those things are critically important, and it's the goals I have going forward. And, of course, always looking to try to, further empower our staff to reach higher levels of excellence. That's critically important. In any ways we can save taxpayers money in the way we operate our jails.
We've been speaking with Sheriff Tom Hodgson. Sheriff, look, you've always made yourself available to this show and
really
to the radio station in general. And both Marcus and I, we really appreciate it. Good luck tomorrow.
Could I just add one thing at the end here,
Sure.
which is very important, and that is to say thank you to you both and to WBSM. Look, talk radio is really going to be the thing that's going to help us turn this country around. And you know what? Both of you have been very insightful, thoughtful, and the way that you've exposed the public, the people in our communities, to the candidates that are running is critically important. And you've been very in-depth and thoughtful of how you did it. And congratulations to both of you, and also to BSM. You all have been really awesome, and you're doing the service that I think people expect. God bless you, and may God bless the listeners tonight. And I hope everybody will consider me for a vote.
We really appreciate that, Sheriff. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Have a good night. Good luck.
Good luck.
So, that was nice.
Very nice. But, boy, both he and Mayor Haru sound tired.
Yeah, they do.
They're both ready.
Yeah. It's been a long year.
It's been a long campaign.
Yeah, it's been a long campaign.
Neither of them have left anything on the table.
They have been indefatigable up until now.
Right. You can hear it in both their voices.
Yeah.
It's time for bed. Whatever the hell happens tomorrow.
Yeah,
right?
They'll be at their election parties and just, waiting with bated breath.
Right.
So, that's it. That's everybody, just about. So that's all the people on the ballot.
And now we can hear from the real people, Marcus, the callers.
We can hear from you if you want to call in at 508-996-0500. Again, the schedule for the first 2.5 hours didn't allow us to fit in our every night guests.
Right.
Right. So,
but I hope you folks appreciated that we were able to get one more cycle through before you vote tomorrow.
If you haven't voted yet, I hope that this helped you. And if you have already voted, I hope these candidates reinforced their, your belief in them as candidates.
So, Marcus, statistically, most people listening have not voted yet.
Yes, statistically.
I think that the last couple of years, generally...
Although we do have a civically engaged audience, I think.
We do. Last couple of cycles, the city of New Bedford generally 6 or 7% early vote.
Yeah.
So most people have not voted yet.
Most people have not voted yet.
Not voted yet.
So 508-996-0500. Good evening, you're live.
Hey, Marcus.
Hey, what's up, Pat?
Like anything else in life, I always do stuff 5 minutes, so I loved your show tonight. Got to hear from a lot of different people and learn a lot of stuff.
Thanks.
Do you think this is the tightest race, Hodgson and Haru? Do you think that's the tightest race in the state?
I think it's the most watched race in the state. If it's tight or not, listen, I think it has the potential to be tight. There's a lot of variables in this race. There is, Hodgson's always been reelected comfortably. There are certain variables now that are different than when he ran against John Quinn. Odds-on favorite has to be the sheriff, right? But there are still factors we can't account for. So
just call back, right?
Just call back, Pat. I'm sorry, I accidentally hung up on you, but let's get to this call. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
I appreciate that you guys have done this throughout the campaign season. It
Thank
really
you.
helps a lot of people get the information. A lot of good candidates running on both sides.
Yes.
And I'm glad the one little libertarian chimed in.
That was nice. I like that.
Yeah, I really wish we had more options with libertarians, and I wish they got more exposure, because I do believe a lot of people, whether they understand what the Libertarian Party is about or not, I think that a lot of people's values do align with libertarian ideals.
Yes.
I really do.
I agree
and
with
I
you.
think a lot of people are fed up with a two-party system, pendulum swinging back and forth, and it getting vicious. I'd rather it be, these are the issues, this is what I'm running on. I kind of wish there was...
Oh, jeez.
Don't worry about it. Just call back, ma'am.
Just call back. I keep doing this.
Marcus is apparently, we got a new board, and Marcus doesn't know what he's doing today.
I'm tired too. Listen, please call back.
Please call back.
I really do feel bad about that. Good evening. Hey, Hank.
Good evening, Chris.
Hey.
We almost had him. We almost had Marcus. We were pulling him on board. He was even trying on Hodgson t-shirt.
That's not correct. None of that's true. I was offered a Hodgson shirt.
Yeah, I know you were.
I was offered a Hodgson shirt. I respectfully declined, but...
We almost had him, Chris. He was going to leave that side of the show, and he was going to sit on your lap for the rest of the show as the proud Republican.
Listen, we can't let Marcus go over the other side. It'll ruin the show.
Yeah, it'll be bad.
Well, it was a very good evening for the sheriff's team. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, not just to cast my own votes. Obviously, one will be for Sheriff Hodgson, but my youngest child, my baby, turned 18 tomorrow. He's voting for the first time. I'm meeting him after school and bringing him in to do his due diligence. So,
that's perfect. That is very important, to take your kids to vote with you.
Yeah.
Yep. He wanted to do it early, and I said, nope. You gotta really feel the moment. You gotta get into the schools. You gotta go. You gotta see the people standing out there holding signs.
I think for your first voting experience, I think that's a good idea.
Agree.
For sure.
I do. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, keep up the good work, guys.
Thanks, Hank. We appreciate it.
Bye.
So, listen, if I hung up on you, call back.
Please call back.
The first person I hung up on, I know him. I texted him. I said, I'm sorry. And he said, don't worry about it. That's all I had to ask. It is the most watched race. Whether it's the closest, we will find out.
We're going to find out. It's very difficult to tell, all right?
Yeah.
As you point out, Marcus, there's a lot of variables.
Yes, there is. Good evening. Hello.
Hi, is it me?
Yes, sorry.
I would take it personally, only I've heard you do it to a couple of us.
Yes.
Unintentionally. So I was saying, I think Diana Zaglio, as good as she is of a person, she seems like she can learn on the fly and really, but I just don't understand why we have a candidate that is an auditor. That is what he is. That is what he does, and that is what his experience is. I think that's who people should be voting for.
Yeah, I mean, that's his argument. He's certainly put that forward. I think it's an effective one, and it is the closest statewide race, albeit not that close, depending on the polls. But there is, I guess, a number of undecided voters that could swing it. She is outside of the margin of error. But
I can see why people would be drawn to her.
Sure.
She does seem good at, what she does. She does seem to draw people in. But I feel like if you're running for an auditor, you will be nice to have a lot of experience. You're running a state, you're checking on what the state is doing. I do like the idea that she wants to check on what the legislature's up to, and audit them, and that makes sense to me. I don't know how they've gotten away with it not being done, but I just don't like how Maura Healey and all of the Democrats, I get it, they're Democrats, but they need to be representing the whole state. And the fact that they're like, let's squeeze out any Republican from even getting any seat.
Well,
to me, doesn't show that they want any balance at all.
Okay. Listen, if the roles were reversed, you go down to Alabama, you go down to Mississippi. They're doing but you know what? If you go down there, they're doing the same stuff there. They have supermajorities in those legislatures. But to say that the Democrats don't represent people because they want full party control, any political party wants that.
Control. I don't think that's good for any state. I really don't think it's good for the country or any state. Which is why I like libertarians, because I do believe we need more balance, and I don't think we get it with one party. I don't.
I agree with you there, but the problem is not caused by the Democrats; it's caused by the Republicans.
Yeah,
not fielding candidates.
The problem is caused by a two-party system.
Well, all right,
yes. I mean, that's
I agree with you there. What you're saying, but just let's try to get a two-party system in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Right?
It's true.
The Republicans aren't even a real party anymore.
They're not.
I mean, listen, I was a faithful, long-time member of the Republican Party since the 1990s, and regulars of the convention, very much involved with the party. And it's really, I'll see what happens after this election. But it's a sad
I don't
fall,
have a lot
really.
of faith in Massachusetts turning it around with Republicans. That's why I would like it not to be so, partisan. But all right, guys, have a great night.
Hey, thanks so much for calling back.
Thanks.
I appreciate it.
I mean, it wasn't that long ago the state elected a Republican senator. It wasn't that long ago we have a Republican governor. We've had mostly Republican governors. It can happen. It just can't be the brand. I don't think it can be the brand that the national Republicans are. Just like the same thing, and you've got more like a John Tester in Montana is the perfect example, I think.
So, Marcus, it's funny as you say that, because today I saw a national ad for the Republicans put up by a conservative group, and they have Joe Biden and they have Liz Warren, right? Then they list all the problems with the country, right? And I thought to myself, that was a national ad. It wasn't someone running against Liz Warren.
Sure.
I thought, that's funny, right? That's how people view.
Well, that's exactly. I think what's funny. I was digging into WVSM's YouTube, and I was looking at the one of our first my first appearance on your show that was recorded. Was we talked about a few things, but one of them was when Deval Patrick and Liz Warren was a conversation about two Massachusetts people running for president,
right?
And I said, while someone like Liz Warren, that brand is particularly popular here, it's decidedly unpopular everywhere else.
Right. I
will say, having said all that, Bernie Sanders is one of the most popular elected officials in the country. I think the difference is with a Warren type is the triangulation of it, but that's a different conversation.
But I wonder about Bernie Sanders. I think his appeal rests in his perception, in the perception of the voters that he's telling them the truth, right? They might not like it, but he's honest, right?
Yeah,
I think that's really his message.
Yeah, it could be.
Right? That people like him because they feel like, hey, that guy's telling me the truth.
I think he just more effectively communicates, hey, you're not getting a fair shake. This is how you can, I think.
Right.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break.
Marcus, tomorrow's it.
What's tomorrow?
Tomorrow's election day.
So tomorrow is election day. You can go vote, and there's the candidates you heard from, and I feel like we're going to have a great special tomorrow. We've got people who are already been elected, basically.
Right.
We have DA Tom Quinn calling in at 8. We have Chris Markey calling in, and we have Chris Hendricks calling in, state reps. They were unopposed. They were unopposed in the general. So. We'll also have some of the winning candidates, maybe some of the losing candidates call in like we did last time.
Right.
And we'll be on till midnight.
We'll have the results. As soon as we're getting them, we'll give them to you.
Yeah.
Folks, we've got a network of people around the state who are going to give us information as soon as they're getting it on results. We get it from some people involved in the different camps. Well, I'm not going to let you know all secrets, but we have some people on the ground. Marks and I will be here in the studio, but we worked really hard on trying to build a network of people. We did it in the primary so that you folks will be getting cutting-edge news live here on the radio tomorrow night.
Yeah, we're really really excited about it. We'll hopefully be able to call the races that you want it called. We'll definitely be able to call those rep races, I think.
I think so, too.
We did last time pretty easily. So we'll be, I think we'll be able to call at least a lot of those rep races. You've got, Paul Schmidt, Evan Gendro, Carol Doherty, Chris Cody. You've got Justin Thurber, Pat Haddad. So we'll be able to call those, hopefully. Let's go.
You have Dr. Swift and you have
Dr.
Bill
Swift
Strauss.
and Bill Strauss.
Yes.
Yeah. 508-996-0500. Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hey, my friend.
Hey, how we doing?
Good.
Can I go a little bit off the
Sure.
election stuff, or you guys want to stay on the election?
No, I don't care.
Okay, you don't care. All right. I thought you Dunn's interview with you guys the other day was very interesting and very telling, okay?
Oh, okay.
For two reasons, okay? He talked about the length of being able to try to go to Boston from New Bedford. And I think that puts a whole new idea on this train from New Bedford to Boston.
Yeah. Right, I think so.
Again, he's got no axe to grind. He's moving on with his life, and wish him well and everything. But I think it was an honest appraisal of what the train down here is going to mean.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's a great point.
I think that, unfortunately, I watch, Channel 5 OTR, saw Mayor Wu on again, okay, and she was talking about the problem that they have with mass gas and the people,
right.
And what to do with them. And she felt that help should be given from outside of Boston. Okay, now I don't know if that means the suburbs right outside of Boston or if it means down here, all right? And again, if I really don't trust the Boston people, not our representatives that go up there or anything, because to me, over my lifetime, Boston has done very little for the South Coast.
Yes, I think a lot of people feel that way, and I think that's what a lot of people campaign on, when they come down here, for sure.
Chris?
Yes. Look, we live in a competitive state. Certain regions want to get for themselves what other people want, So that's why it's important to have legislators like we have. Many of them have been there for quite a while. That's how you eventually acquire real power.
Well, I think they're doing the best that they can.
Yes.
Even if you and I and Marcus were up there, we'd be doing the best we can. But again, it's stacked against us with all the regions that vote the way they have more population and voting against us. The only leverage we could have is, yes, if we get a lot of people voting, and all of a sudden they need the South Coast to pass something that they want passed. Okay. And if we're never in that position, I don't care. We could, resurrect Abraham Lincoln and send him up there, and we're not going to get much done.
Well, Baker completely changed his stance on South Coast Rail when he wanted to get elected his second run for governor, the successful one.
When he looked, the thing about Bristol County, and we're going to prove this for the sheriff's race. When you start to look at the turnout, not the number of votes, but the percentage turnouts. How much more the turnout is in the suburbs as opposed to the city.
Yes.
Yeah, well, understandably, the suburbs, I think people who move there, might be a little better well off, a little more politically sophisticated.
Mm-hmm.
And
exactly it.
So consequently, that's why you get that. But the suburbs doesn't have the population, I think, to do it. You got to get Fall River, New Bedford people into this stuff and making their names known, their vote noticed. One other thing I wanted to bring up, too, which, again, from you done was very telling, okay? Conversation came up about the mayor and the city council.
Yes.
Dealing with the mayor and the city council. And again, he's leaving, no access to grind. He said, basically, and I'm, I guess, paraphrasing, whatever, that with the mayor, it's either his way or the highway.
That's a direct quote. That's not a paraphrase at all.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. And again, I think, the mayor may be the smartest guy in the room and the best educated guy in the room. But again, the situation between the mayor and the city council not getting along and not being able to deal with one another hurts the city, okay?
Yes.
And hopefully, I think the mayor tried to offer his own type of olive branch when he wanted to have this, issue about the
Methadone clinic.
Brought up again.
Yes.
That was his way of, saying, hey, we can be on the same side.
Correct.
Of course, because of the bad blood that's there, that didn't come out that way. I think it was his way of trying to say, hey, we can work together. Just let these people know that New Bedford doesn't want them on Union Street. The city council, and because of the bad relationship, it just, didn't happen.
It was the city council unanimously decided to miss a great opportunity.
Yeah. They should have at least discussed it as the mayor asked.
Right.
Okay, but again, because of the issue, and again, you done brought it up, it's his way or the highway. To me, if you're a politician, whether you're Newt Gingrich and Bill Clinton or Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan, you still have to deal with each other. It can't be one way or the highway, whether it be city council telling the mayor that or the mayor telling city council that. I just hope we could have more, civil, political, debate rather than personality and getting angry about, who's right and who's wrong. And again, those two people. From what I understand, Tip, didn't get along with Ronald Reagan, but yet, to do business, they got along. And Newt Gingrich was mad as hell, but yet to do business, he got along with Bill Clinton, and we had some good years there, fueled by the computer,
.com boom.
Right,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I just thought those were two very interesting comments made by, Mr. Dunn as he left.
I think the city council is going to be poorer without him, quite frankly.
Oh, no, I do. I think you hope like another person that has his resume kind of comes up, because he really was one of the he really was there's no other attorney on that council. I know you have Jaretowski, but having someone there that can make votes, I think, is important, and having someone with that policy knowledge, I think, makes so. Everybody's got their own knowledge that they bring to the council.
Again, I'm just saying,
think his
the council
is unique.
and the mayor has to work together. It can't be all the councils wear the highway or all the mayors wear the highway. They got to talk, and they got to reach compromise.
I agree.
Otherwise, you're going to get the fiasco like you have going on in the country right now.
The fact that the methadone clinic purveyors were able to divide the council and the mayor is really crazy.
Well, nobody wants it there. The council doesn't want it there. The mayor doesn't want it there.
But they can't agree on how to keep it out.
Well, again, it's just because of the bad blood that's there. To me, that was an olive branch to the city council.
Yes,
hey, let's let's show these people that we're united as a community, as a city council, in the mayor's office, that we don't want you there. Maybe there's another place in the city, and yet it just got, boom, blown up.
Right.
It's too bad.
It is too bad.
For whoever fault it is, it's too bad.
Who do you think will come out of Ward 3?
I have no idea. And Ward 3 is
nobody does.
Not to me. Hey, we talked about a future mayor, though, if our mayor does leave with Maura Healey.
Yes.
How about Joe Lopes?
Yeah, I think Joe Lopes was on that trajectory for sure.
I agree.
Think Joe Lopes has, I think, a couple of things that I think are valuable in a mayoral candidate. He has a lot of good business experience. He has the institutional knowledge of how city government works, and he's very passionate about the city. So,
and he seemed to be respected by his colleagues.
He definitely was very well respected.
And again, like I think Chris, you advised him to run for councilor at large. Maybe he could just be a step from councilor at large.
Yeah.
And he seemed to be very confident when I watch him on TV, because you guys can't let you know what goes on. When he was on the city council, how he conducted himself and everything.
And this isn't to say anything. Like I think Pereira's done a good job. I mean, he nailed that Noah's Playground issue. He's the one that discovered it. I think he's done a good job.
Yeah.
It's too bad both couldn't be on the council.
But again, if we're looking for another mayor, maybe Joe Lopes might want to consider it. I don't know, and maybe people around might consider him acceptable, because he did conduct himself well when I'd watch him on TV. The other person who might want to become mayor, because he tried to become mayor before, if Mayor Mitchell decides to leave for the Healy administration, is Tony Cabral.
I agree with you. I think he's got to be on the short list.
I think if Tony Cabral jumps in,
he had an interest. He ran against Mitchell first time out and everything. So,
yes. And it was actually a fairly close election.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
So I think he would be considered a front runner.
Yeah.
Well, Colin, I think that the first place people are going to find out who should run for mayor is what the callers are saying, like yourself. In other words, people are interested in running if they can hear callers, people out there telling them they ought to maybe consider it, So I think that you and other people who have an opinion on this, and opinion based in fact, and ought to continue to talk about it, because I think it's very important that we have a big stable of candidates.
Well, it's because of your show that people like me and Tom Kennedy, who I appreciate his opinion too when I listen to him on radio, it's because of your show that this is happening, and I hope you guys continue to do this. You might tell a lot of people that, TV, even though you got 88 channels, your show, beats all the different programs that they got on there, to tell you the truth.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Another local importance and everything else. So those people that are bored with TV, South Coast Tonight, here you are, the Marcus McCarthy Show.
I agree. Everything's on demand anyway, so you can watch stuff before or after the 7 to 10 time slot. Hey, listen, thanks for
guys.
Thanks for
the time. Thank you for the time. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I was going to say before we go, saw a local media member at the sheriff's stand out today, and he said that we have the best thing going in radio right now.
That's fantastic.
So that's right. That's right, we do.
Well, look, the other part is that our callers can join us.
Yeah.
That's very important to us and to the audience, is that you can watch it on television, but you and the TV are alone in the living room. Here you can pick up the phone and become part of the conversation, maybe even become part of the ultimate result.
Exactly. That's a great pitch, Chris. All right, I got to take this break.
1420 WBSM, New Bedford's news talk station.
Finding great.
Spent all day hearing about the news. Now's your chance to react to it.
Pick up your phone and call the professionals.
Call Chris and Marcus now at 508-996-0500. Or send a text via app chat on the WBSM app. Now, back to South Coast Tonight.
So yeah, I was just thinking about Ward 3, because we're rolling right into that special election right after.
The radio gods always deliver.
We told Hugh to resign so that we could have something to talk about after.
Right.
We're like, hey, buddy, time's up.
That is an interesting ward, because there are a lot of really nice apartment buildings that someone can move into.
Yeah.
The one Hugh lives in.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
There's also a lot of single-family houses.
He moved in, and the special election happened.
Exactly. There's a lot of opportunities to move, and there's also a lot of long-time residents who own homes there.
Yeah.
All right. So I think it's going to be a very interesting field as it develops. There'll be a couple of weeks before it starts to gel more. We're all hearing stories of different people, and I think anybody that's interested in running ought to really consider running.
When Hugh and I were talking about it, I remember it those years ago. We were actually at Rose Alley, funny enough, and
who was driving?
And I was driving. So we were talking about it, and he's like trying to decide. And he saw a union head, one of the local union heads, and he's like, hey, listen, I'm thinking about running. Blah blah blah. He goes, we got your back, right? And he's like, he looked at me. He's like, let's go get the papers. So we went and pulled those papers right there at the elections office,
right?
And I, took the picture, and the rest is history. So the point of the story was just jump in, jump right in.
If you have a desire to run for office,
if you have a desire and you have what you're doing,
there is
if you know stuff,
a nice opportunity.
It's a good opportunity
because it's a special election, which will mean it's going to cost less than normal elections. If you know how to target voters.
Exactly. That's the point, is you can have a very well-targeted, efficient campaign.
Right. And you have the opportunity to come on the air with Marcus and I.
That too.
Right? Maybe. But look, we're going to do the best we can to publicize this.
Oh, we'll have, we're going to have a debate.
Right.
We all that, yeah.
This is a nice opportunity.
There was a Ward 3 debate here. Taylor Cormier moderated it.
Really?
In this time slot, because it wasn't a time slot yet. In this time slot, there was a Ward 3 debate.
Oh, they did like a special presentation?
Yeah. It was moderated by Taylor Cormier. I remember. That was when the room looked different. I was sitting on the couch in the lobby. I wasn't anybody back then.
That's right. That couch used to be in the lobby.
The couch was in the lobby.
Right.
Yep. I was sitting there, and wouldn't let me in the studio, so they had to debate, and yeah.
So look, this is if you've ever thought about running for city council, and you're mobile, this is a nice opportunity to have an open seat. Obviously, we know that the label of carpetbagger doesn't matter in that ward. No one. Yeah, exactly. No one really cares. No one's ever cared about carpetbagging. I don't really think they do. As long as you're a quality person and you present yourself to the voters well, that issue's not an issue. It never is. It's never an issue. People just want someone they like and someone that's competent representing them. Right. They don't care how long they live there. Like I said, when we ran that race, it really was just a coincidence. But people were like, some people were like, "Oh my God, my house is made of scrimshaw, and I am New Bedford, and I grew from the barnacle on the fishing ships, and that's how I became a person. I'm from New Bedford." No one cared. No one ever does. Hey, let's take a break.
Voting.
Any prediction on the questions?
Yes on all 4.
I know you're voting yes on all 4. You think all 4 are going to pass?
I think all 4 are going to pass. It looks that way.
I would say that I think 1 is not going to pass. I think, interestingly, 4 will pass.
4 will definitely pass. If I was going to say which one wouldn't pass, it would be 1, because that's where the most moneyed opposition is. Everything else is significantly outspent. Yes.
What about question 5 locally here in New Bedford?
I think it'll be a yes. I think it probably won't be as comfortable of a margin as people would like, but I think it'll be yes. I think most people are I think sold on the fact that we need a train down here.
I think it'll be interesting to see where the no votes come from, precinct-wise.
You know what I'm going to say though? If this were a municipal election, if this were like in next November, right? I wouldn't be that confident. I'd be I'm more confident now because it's a governor's like midterm election.
So that's a good point, right?
I think so. I'm serious. I think that's where the voters are at.
Yes, I have not been impressed with the people that should be out here working to get the thing passed.
I agree.
To educate voters, to remove the questions.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. There's a lot of people in elected office that should be doing stuff. We got people that, have been in elected office that are doing stuff. And
right.
Paul Chase.
Scott
Lang came on. Yeah.
Right.
They made an effort to get in front of the microphone and tell us why we need it. And I know a lot of people, heard the Scott Lang interview. I heard a lot of stuff. Some people really like the funniest part, but it was a great. Some people love the Sopranos reference, which was great.
Yes,
we need to work more of that into our program, but we've got 5 hours to do that tomorrow. So, guys, we're live for 5 hours tomorrow. Please call.
There'll be plenty of opportunities for you to call in tomorrow.
We're on 7 to midnight. We're hopefully going to call some of these local races, but you'll definitely hear from a lot of the candidates, and you'll hear from some elected officials as well, and hopefully we'll hear from you. That's it.
All right.
We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Manana.